Chairs No Waiting, episode number 632, Elinor, Donahue and James Best in Kingsport, Tennessee, 1998. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at WeaversDepartmentStore.com. Head over to Weavers and check things out. You can check out Mayberry First. That's right, it's a book by Randy Turner about some of the firsts in Mayberry. Definitely worth your read. Go and check that out. While you're there, you might want to check out the new Johnny Lightning Andy Griffith Show squad cars. Well, they're not really new, but they're back in stock after a couple of years of not being in stock. So head over to WeaversDepartmentStore.com and check out just all the fun stuff they got over there. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you. The executive producer of episode number 632 is Brian Rose. Brian Rose is the host of the Mayberry Devotionals podcast that you'll find if you head over to TwoChairsNoWaiting.com. You'll find it right there. It's right there with my podcast. That's where you are. If you don't know, it's I'm Alan Newsom, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. And it is great to spend some time in Mayberry. And wow, we've got some fun tonight. We're going to be hearing from an event that happened back in 1998. It was a gathering in Kingsport, Tennessee of Andy Griffith Show cast members. The event was called I Remember Mayberry. I do miss it, but I Remember Mayberry was what it was called. And it was really a special time for fans and the cast too, actually, because they were raising money for a charity. And it just, it was a very fun and special event. A lot of cast members were there. We've already done an episode back in 630, a couple of episodes back, with Howard Morris in Kingsport. And tonight we're going to be hearing from Elinor Donahue. That's Miss Ellie, for those that don't know. And we're also going to be hearing from James Best. That's Rush Scoopy Coltrane from Dukes of Hazzard, but he was Jim Lindsey, the guitar player on the Andy Griffith Show. So we're going to hear from them both in this episode of the podcast. And in between, as we take a break there, we're going to do a little bit of trivia. So we'll see how our time's going, and we'll play some trivia, just read some trivia questions just for fun and have a little bit of fun there. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun this week. Randy Turner, who normally does our This Week in Mayberry History, he's not going to be with us tonight because he's just taking a week off, much well-deserved time off. And so we're going to be doing 2 segments with our cast members, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. So we're going to get right into it. Now, I do want to tell you that I recommend that you watch the video version of this podcast. So if you're listening to the audio version, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Definitely. No problem there. But the video version, you'll not only be able to see the cast members as they're talking, the audio of this recording is a little hard to hear. I did my very best to clear it up and clean it up so that it would be as easy to understand as possible, but it was recorded with a video camera in the audience in a large auditorium. So there's some echo, there's some noise there. And so if you watch the video, I think you can pick out what they're saying better because you can see their mouth and hear them at the same time. But I believe you'll be okay, even if you don't. Now, what you will miss is during this, Miss Ellie, Elinor, actually dances. She does little dance steps and everything. So there's a portion of her segment where there's just music. And so when that's going on, just picture that she's dancing if you're only listening. So you're getting to see some of that. Now, I will also say my wife was the one recording this. And as she was recording, she was trying to record the video with one hand as she tried to take photographs with the other. So there are a few places where the video kind of shifts off where you can't see what was on stage as she's taking a picture, and you'll often hear the sound of the camera and then it comes back. So excuse those kind of things, but I got to tell you folks, this is stuff you just won't see anywhere else. I don't know of another recording of this, and hopefully there might be because it's important that we documented all these amazing Mayberry events. And so I'm just always happy when I run across these. So I've talked way too much. We're way too far into the show. And let's go ahead and give it a shot and hear from Elinor.
Everybody wanted her to be Miss Mayberry. She didn't quite win the title, but in our hearts, I believe that she'll always be Miss Mayberry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Elinor Donahue, Miss Ellie. That's right.
It's called Ellie's Theme, and it was written by Earl Hayden for the show, and he did all the music for the beautiful theme and everything. And at the end of the first season, the producers asked him to do an album, a long-playing album, to kind of advertise the next year's season. And so he wrote some new music, and some of it was all beautiful, but some of it was country, and some of it was stuff that had already been in the show. But he wrote a couple of new things, and one of them was Miss Ellie's Theme. Well, now, if I had known that he was going to write that, I might have changed my mind about what I was to do next, which was to ask my agent to get me out of my contract. And unbeknownst to Earl Hayden, he had written, produced, recorded, and had a record already on with Ellie's theme on it, only there was not going to be any Miss Ellie in the following year. I was terribly sorry about that. When I heard the song a couple of years later, I was happy and I was proud because it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. As a matter of fact, I think they have one of the albums for sale outside. But it also made me sad because it made me think about what might have been. And if I had been there, oh, there it is. Isn't that a sweet song? I just love it. Anyway, if I had stayed there, who knows? It seems like Andy and I might have had more of a relationship on the show. Maybe we could have even gotten married. And if that had happened, well, I think I'd like to sing this particular song for him. Picture me upon your knee, with tea for two and two for ten, like me for you and you for me alone. Nobody near us to see us or hear us, no friends or relations on weekend vacations. We won't ever know that we own a telephone. Start to make a sugar cake for you to take for all the boys to see. We will raise a family, a boy for you, a girl for me. Can't you see how happy we would be?
Oh, that was great. So that was Elinor Donahue in 1998 there for the I Remember Mayberry event in Kingsport, Tennessee. I just wish it had gone longer. But it was great to hear her sing. She was dancing, as I said. She danced in there. And I hope you could hear everything pretty well. They didn't have her mic on at the very start. So when she first started talking, her mic just was not on. And then it came on. So hopefully it was really quiet right there. Hopefully you didn't turn the radio or something up really loud while that was happening to try to hear her. And then it actually started coming in. So I hope you enjoyed that. We got a little bit more here. We're going to hear from James Best in just a few minutes. But until then, or before then, let's play a little bit of trivia. We got some time tonight, and we'll play. Let me get a little background trivia music. There we go. So let's play some true and false trivia from the book Mayberry Trivia. Mayberry Trivia by Scott Hopkins. You can pick it up at Weaver's Department Store. Look, it's really fun. I enjoy the book. Great book. Great job, Scott. All right, number one. Let's do 5 trivia questions in true and false. All right, here we go. The cave rescue. This is number 1. The cave rescue, or the cave Andy and Helen became trapped in, is called Lost Lover's Cave. Is that true or false? The cave Andy and Helen become trapped in is called Lost Lover's Cave. True or false? All right, so you got a 50-50 chance of getting these. So this is for fun. Hopefully you have a good time doing this. So the answer is the cave that Andy and Helen become trapped in. It's called Lost Lover's Cave. That is true. True. Good job. That was number 1. Number 2. Andy says he has never been without a clean underwear while on a trip thanks to Aunt B. True or false? All right. Andy says he's never been without clean underwear while on a trip thanks to Aunt B. True or false? That's a little harder. Is it true or false? Boy, it sounds true, but let's see. Andy says he's never been without clean underwear while on a trip thanks to Aunt B. The answer is false. It was actually he's never been without a brown paper sack full of sandwiches on a trip thanks to Aunt B. All right, so that was a trick. So it was false. It was a brown paper sack full of sandwiches. Number 3, Gomer wants a tattoo put on his arm before he joins the Marines. True or false? Gomer wants a tattoo put on his arm before he joins the Marines. True or false? All right. Here's the answer. Gomer wants a tattoo put on his arm before he joins the Marines. The answer is true. He wants an eagle. He wants an eagle with the word mother on there. That's what he wants. Okay. All right. Number 4. Mr. Dave's magic fishing lure is called a golly splasher. Mr. Dave's magic fishing lure is called a golly splasher. Okay. Last chance. I'll read it one more time and then true or false. True or false. Mr. Dave's magic fishing lure is called the golly splasher. The answer to that, pause if you don't want to know. The answer is false. It's a golly wobbler. A golly wobbler, not a golly splasher. All right, our final true and false question. All right, here we go. Barney knows an old German soldier. True or false? Barney knows an old German soldier. This is a true or false question. 50-50 chance of getting this right. Barney knows an old German soldier. The answer is that's true. Hugo Hopflesh is his name. He knows how to polish shoes too. He knows how. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and do 5 more. What do you think? We're not going to do any more true and false though. Let's do the regular ones. Okay, so here we go. All right. So this would be what, number 6, I guess. What is a number 2 Amber Alert? You got to know the answer to this one. Not true or false. It's not true or false anymore. What is a number 2 Amber Alert? A number 2 Amber Alert is, okay, the answer is that's either Andy or Barney awake at all times. A number 2 Amber Alert. Number 2 Amber Alert. All right, number 7. What comic strip does Barney like to read in the Sunday paper? What comic strip does Barney like to read in the Sunday paper? You can pause if you don't want to know the answer. All right, so the answer is, what comic strip does Barney like to read in the Sunday paper? The answer is Andy Gump. He likes Andy Gump in the Sunday paper. All right, so that was 6, 7, 8. Number 8. On what street in Mayberry does the Taylor family live? You got some. This one's a little harder because, well, maybe it's not harder. On what street in Mayberry does the Taylor family live? That street moved around a lot. All right. On what street in Mayberry does the Taylor family live? All right. So here comes the answer. The Taylor family lives on, and you could get it right by any of these answers. They live on Maple Street. They live on Elm Street, or they live on Maple Road. So the name changed name a lot. It was always a tree. 411 Elm Street. That's where Barney lived, wasn't it? But anyway, those were the 3 street names that were given as where the Taylor lives. All right, so it's 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 9. What gossip column does Red Aiken write in the Mayberry Gazette? What gossip column does Red Aiken write for the Mayberry Gazette? Do you remember that one? All right. The answer is Red Aiken writes Mayberry After Midnight for the Mayberry Gazette. That's what it's called. Mayberry After Midnight. All right. Our last question. All right, here comes. What item does Aunt Bee ask Bert Miller to sell her? Oh, I don't want to be pushy. What item does Aunt Bee ask Bert Miller to sell her? Thanks, Bert. What item does Aunt Bee ask Bert Miller to sell to her? The answer is an apron. You want an apron? Are you sure you need one? An apron? It's an apron. That's the answer. All right, so that's it. That's it. Our 10 questions from the Mayberry Trivia book. You too can own it. There's 1,500 questions in here. Doing them 5 at a time, we'll never finish. So buy the book over at Weaver's Department Store. Thank you to Scott Hopkins for the book and for allowing us to do these kind of things. This is a lot of fun. How did you do? Did you do well? You had an opportunity there on 10 questions. Some were true and false, and others were just you had to answer. So come on, you had a 50-50 chance on 5 of them. I hope you did well and hope you enjoyed it. All right, so now we're heading back over to Kingsport, Tennessee. Again, this is our opportunity to hear from Jim Lindsey himself. And I should have mentioned David Browning is the MC for this event, so he introduced Miss Ellie, and he's going to introduce James Best, Jim Lindsey, on this. And this is a real treat. So again, I encourage you so much to watch the video version of this, because I don't even want to tell you what they're going to do. If you've ever seen them in person, it's awesome. And I am so glad to be able to show this to you now. So, all right, guys, we're going to head over and hear from James Best at Kingsport in 1998.
Well, folks, they just keep a-coming. These strange characters from Mayberry. Y'all remember Jim Lindsey? Well, we have him here tonight, and he's going to wow you all with some music. You're not going to believe it. This man is one of the finest musicians you've ever seen. Let's put our hands together and welcome James Best. Now, let him see the weekend.
What a wonderful reception. You know, I was fortunate enough. I only did 2 shows, but I never had so much fun in my life. But I was very fortunate that Andy decided that he wanted to incorporate some music in the show. Like you found this sucker. There it is. You know, I was one of the first fortunate got to play music, you know. Bobby Fleet, the man with the beat. And, well, I just came through and got me a ticket where did I find that ticket? See, you know, don't you? All right. I'm going to play this little tune, Rock and Roll Rosie from Rap. You all remember that?
Yeah.
Before I do, I want to, you know, I'm so fortunate they invite me on this because Andy Griffith Show was one of my favorites. And working with such a wonderful cast, well, you can't ask for anything better than that. And I enjoyed every second of it, especially playing Rock and Roll Rosie from Riley. All right. Before I start, you know, I did a few movies before that. I was fortunate enough to do 5 movies with Jimmy Stewart. And he became really an idol of mine. And I did a few pictures, you know, Shenandoah and Fire Creek. And we were making a picture called Mountain Road when we were down in Phoenix. And Mr. Stewart was made a general by act of Congress, and he flew back to Washington to get his star. And while he was gone, I used to imitate him a little bit. I'd call down the room service and I'd say, is this a room service? And they said, oh, yes. Well, listen, this is Mr. Stewart. They said, oh, yes, Mr. Stewart. He said, well, I want to ask you a favor. Do you have any wine? And they said, oh, yes, sir, we have one. He said, well, I don't mean just any old wine. I just I want something, you know, maybe from foreign country, France. Maybe they'd make good wine, I understand. And they said, yes, we have it. Well, you'd be so kind as to send a bottle up to Mr. Best's room. In fact, make that 2 bottles. Makes me sound like a drunk, not so bad. Rock and Roll Rosie from Riley. You know, as much as I love playing this guitar, what I really enjoy painting. I'm going to have an art show down in Nashville in August on the 28th and 29th down there at the mall, and we show them down. Rock and Roll Rosie, I can't even remember the time. This is going to dash me.
All right.
What happened?
All right, that's all.
What is this? You pull the plug?
I pulled the plug. You better believe I pulled the plug.
What did you do that for?
Well, you didn't play.
Well, they were waiting for me to play, and you pull the plug on me.
That's the worst. That was the worst playing I've ever seen in my life. Now, I'm the deputy, and I got to control this kind of stuff around here.
Well, listen. There's sound. Why didn't you have that a while ago?
I believe that's some of them state boys.
Wait, you think because you got that uniform on you, you want to skip?
I'm the only law enforcement in this community.
Yeah.
That's right.
You want to skip?
I'm gonna have to confiscate that music box right there. Give it here.
Listen, you can't. Wait a minute. Hank is going to play here. You can't arrest me.
I can arrest you. I can arrest anybody in here.
You're a deputy, right?
That's right. I'm a deputy.
Well, you're a deputy.
I am not a deputy. I'm a deputy.
Well, I'm not school. You mess with me, I'm going to cuff you and stuff you.
Oh, yeah?
Flip you and trip you.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to slip you and lip you.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Oh, this beats everything. You're the saddest deputy. You're worse than the dipstick deputy that I got. You're a dipstick.
I am not a deputy. Now, nip it.
What the heck is a nippet?
That uniform looks pretty good. Where's the good thing?
Well, you
Yeah, genuine whipcord.
Well, it ought to be whipped. Whip it.
All right, buddy. Listen, I don't believe you're a real deputy.
I'm the sheriff, I ain't a deputy.
We'll just have a deputy off here.
All right, let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right.
You ready? I'll go first.
Okay,
You gotta follow me.
All right.
On the count of three.
Okay.
Nip it in the bud.
Crip it in the club.
That ain't it, buddy.
Throw it in the mud.
All right, you're next.
All right, do this.
All right.
Sure what you're going to do.
Is that pretty good?
Try this. This is really easy.
All right. I can't do that.
You're allowed to get it. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah?
But you should get another job.
Oh, no, I'm only deputy Mayberry's job.
Well,
I'll tell you what, buddy, I'm gonna take you off. You're out of your jurisdiction, but don't be trying to play the gift card around here again.
can I have it back?
Yeah, you can have it back.
Well, I appreciate that.
Hey, folks, you know what? I really believe he digs us. Let's dig him back. What do you say?
Oh, guys, I hope you watched the video of that. James Best and David Browning, that's Barney and Roscoe P. Coltrane, trying to determine who is the best deputy. And that they did that over the course of many years, David and James, and they developed a great friendship between the two of them, and they would ad-lib that thing to death. It was absolutely... you just were laughing every time. Barney trying to go nip it in the bud, and he would always stick it in the mud or something. Oh, it was so much fun. Mr. Best was just he was such a nice man, and I was so privileged. Floyd Allen, I got to introduce him. When I'm doing Floyd, I got to introduce him often as Jim Lindsey because David was going to come out and do this routine with him. So I would introduce him, and I would bring out his hat for him to, when he changed to Roscoe, he would pull off his jacket and throw the jacket to me, and I would hand him his Roscoe hat, and he would put it on, and then David and he would just have a great time. And what a wonderful, wonderful man he was, and he's so missed. So I hope you have enjoyed this. We got to see Miss Ellie herself, and then we got to see James Best. Now the fun thing is, in our chat room tonight, Peter, Miss Ellie's son, Miss Ellie's boy, is in here, and he actually threw this into the chat room. And Peter, I hope you don't mind me telling this, but he put it in there. I took acting lessons at James Best Actors Workshop. One night, a stuntman came in, and he was about to audition for Burt Reynolds' movie Stick as the bad guy who does a tremendous fall in the film. For our benefit, James Best, Jim, worked with the actor, and it was what we call these days a master class in the craft. I learned more about acting that night than ever before or since. And so he mentioned that in the chat room, and I appreciate that. James Best was such a nice man. And he mentioned in that clip, if you heard him talking about having an art show, because he was a painter, he paints. And I think you can still go to jamesbestart.com and there still may be some paintings available. I have a couple of his paintings here at my house. And he had an art show in Nashville, and my wife and I actually went there. He mentioned the art show he was doing in Nashville, and we went up and we met Tom Wopat. He was there from Dukes of Hazzard as well. So wow, it really was such a great pleasure to get to meet him and know him over the years. He said the guy got the part. Oh, the guy got the part, by the way, that Peter was talking about in the chat room. The man who was going for that role in the Burt Reynolds movie got the role. So that's great. So James helped him get the role. So I don't call him, I call him Mr. Best. I never called him Jim or anything. I was, hey, Mr. Best, how you doing? He would always say, it's Jim. And I would just never do it. I can't do it. But what a great guy he was. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hey, folks, if you like these Mayberry things that are going on, there are things happening that you could be a part of. That's right. We got the Mayberry Man movie. You guys already know about that. Well, part of the Mayberry Man movie is this coming weekend. If you're available, now this is, it's going to be coming out. This podcast will be out on the 11th of May, 2021. And so this weekend on the 15th of May, they're going to have a fundraiser at Meridian Street. A garden party is really what it is. Raising money to finish up the Mayberry Man movie. It's almost finished. They're just doing some touch-ups and extra pieces and stuff. And if you'd like to be there, you can come. There's tickets for sale, and you're definitely invited to do that. And here's the really cool thing. During the fundraiser, or this garden party, where you're going to have a bunch of the tribute artists are going to be there, stars from the movie will be there. And Levi Riggs is a country music star who has sung and has already recorded the theme, or a theme song, or song that's going to be used in the Mayberry Man movie. And the name of the song is Mayberry Man, I believe, is the name of it. But they're going to be shooting the music video for that during this garden party. So if you want a possibility of being in the crowd or there when they're at least filming it, you can be a part of Mayberry history and be there to help us raise a little bit of money to finish up the movie and have a good time as well. So definitely something you might want to consider. Now, that's in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the information, if you go to supportmayberryman.com, you'll find it. But if you're not going to be up in Indiana, if you're down around Alabama, head over to in June. We're going to be having an event there called Mule Day and Chicken Fest in Gordo, Alabama. I've done this event several times. Definitely encourage you to head over to see that. It's in downtown Gordo. It's going to be both Friday, June 4th, and Saturday, June 5th. Friday night, we're going to be doing some shows, and this year's celebration of Mule Day is going to include a 60th anniversary celebration for the Andy Griffith Show. And they're going to have special guest Dixie Griffith. That's Andy's daughter, by the way. We're not even going to have Mayberry people. We're also going to have Festus, a fellow named Mark Staggs, great guy. He's going to be down there along with several of the tribute artists, including myself as Floyd. Several others will be there as well. And we're gonna be doing a show on Friday night starting around 6 o'clock and do some skits and trivia. And Festus is going to tell stories. And it's Mule Day, so it's perfect to have Festus there with us. And for those that don't know, Howard McNear and Parley Bear were both on Gunsmoke, where Festus came from. So there's still kind of a tie-in there. So things are going to pick up on Saturday as well. So there'll be entertainment things going on Saturday. So if you can't make it Friday night to see all the Mayberry folks, we will be back in town walking around, seeing people, talking to people. They're going to have classic cars, all kinds of stuff. Again, that's June 4th on Friday night. And then Saturday, June 5th, you can head over and see us. So if you head over to the GordoAreaChamber.com, you'll be able to find the information as well. So, folks, I hope you have had some fun, and I hope you would have an opportunity to come to some of these events. That is all I have for us tonight, and I hope you got your money's worth out of it. I want to thank Brian Rose, my executive producer for the evening. He was executive producer of episode 631, but I said his name wrong, so I did it again. So I made sure I said it right this week. So thanks to Brian for supporting the show and being executive producer. If you'd like to be an executive producer, you can do that by heading over to twocairsnowaiting.com and looking at our Patreon location there. And you can be a part of the show. You can help me out. And so I'd appreciate it if you can. If you can't, just tell folks about it. And I'd love to hear from you. So just email me at floyd@imayberry.com or give me a call at 888-684-8415. Wow, that was a lot of call to actions. You're not supposed to do that. But I hope you had a good time. And we'll see you next week right here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody.